No, today I wanted to share, this is like a series I'm doing now. I'm sharing my books that I've been really liking, and since I don't get to share my books in person with anybody right now, I can share it with y'all on the internet. So this is Good Goddamn, and this is a cool book by Bryan Schutmaat, who is a photographer from Texas. He went to the grad school that I am getting ready to go to later this year, and he just got awarded the Guggenheim Award Grant Fellowship, which is very, very badass. Only a few people get it a year, and it's very prestigious. So he made this a couple years ago, and this is a book that is about his friend that was going to prison, and he went and met up and spent time with his friend in the days before going to prison. So this is all about what they did with that time, and I thought that was kind of interesting given the quarantine. Like, if we had known that we were going to get locked inside for so long, I wonder what we would have done with our time. Like, maybe more of us would have shot guns and drank beers in the woods and like they did. He's got this cool Townes Van Sant quote right in the beginning here too, which I guess I can read. Hills of golden, piles of poison, time's thrown me through, and I believe I've come to learn that turning round is to become confusion, and the gold's no good for spending, and the poison's hungry waiting. What can you leave behind when you're flying lightning fast and all alone? Only a trace, my friend, spirit of motion born and direction grown, a trace that will not fade in frozen skies. So again, like, this is right before his friend went into prison, and so I think that that kind of quote has some resonance there. This is his friend Chris, and romping around with the truck in the mud. Let's see if I can get some better exposure for you guys here. All right, it's got this cool letter on the inside too. If any of you guys have joined it or know anything about me, I'm a sucker for handwriting and letters and paper, and this is like a really cool reproduction of this letter that his friend wrote to him, I believe once he was already inside of prison. It is super gut-wrenching to read this. I don't recollect specifically if there's any one passage that I could read for you guys right now. You know, I'm not sure if he shot these with the 4x5 camera. I expected that he would have, but they're not in 4x5 format. They look like 6x7. So I don't know. That's something that I haven't gotten to speak to him about. So I wouldn't be surprised if these were film, but they could be digital. Casey. Letter. Moving on. There's a lot of this cool sequencing, especially in the beginning of the book, where it goes back and forth between his friend Casey, the man, and then his truck, and this freewheeling through the mud, which, you know, I think that you can draw some comparisons there. The wall of beer cans. This is a great photo, tons of interesting texture, and it's really been an inspiring image to me that definitely has stuck with me. And then, yeah, right in sequence to boom, which is a poignant image for sure. This is Bryan Schutmaat, photographer from Texas, graduate of Hartford Art School, grad school that I'm going to later this year. Very excited. Hopefully our current COVID crisis doesn't fuck me up too much. This was released in 2017, and if I'm not mistaken, he graduated in 2012. So a little while later. this picture is one of my favorites, and it's definitely been inspiring with, like, right now I've been shooting these portraits of people through their windows and their screens, and this one was definitely in my head when I was starting to make those types of pictures. Yeah, that picture is unbelievable. Oops, lost a poster. And keep trying to move around and find where, like, the best light is so that you guys can see what's cracking, because it keeps adjusting on me here. And can you guys see okay? The exposure and everything on the page is all right? This picture, nice and subtle in there. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. A little bedroom action in there. Nothing fancy, but beautiful little details that brings you inside this guy's world. This is the environment that he lives in, is comfortable with, and also where he's going to be missing and losing when he goes to prison, which is unfortunate. He's like this wild stag, and he's going to get separated from his environment, his home. And I don't think Bryan ever talks about what his friend Chris did to earn imprisonment, but I mean, I think it's safe to say that this guy is just not a sheep type person. I don't know. I guess that he is, I don't know how to describe someone like this. It's really, you only get this vague idea of who and what this guy is. But you definitely get the sense that he's the type of person that enjoys his freedom. This picture's fantastic. This is one of the ones where I was really blown away by the depth of field and the way of, like, what is in focus versus out of focus. And you've got him hunting right there. But then, yeah, like the tonal shift from highlight to shadow in this image is fantastic as well. Hoping that you guys can see again, given the light here. I know it seems to be a little challenging. I can't tell if it's just my my screen that makes it look super, super dark, or if you guys are experiencing that too. But his images are generally dark. They definitely are within that darker spectrum of black and white images, and using a lot of grays and blacks, and like really allowing those highlights to be punchy when they are present. Face right there. This is a short book, so I don't have to sit around here flipping for an hour, which is nice. We're getting towards the end here. Coyote that's strung up. Supposedly farmers and ranchers do this type of thing in order to help ward off predators on their farms and ranches. It's pretty brutal, especially for someone like me. When I was in Montana last year, I came across the same type of thing, but with a deer leg. And after seeing it for the first time, I found that it's pretty common that people will string up animals like that, and it's like an aggressive sight. Yeah, this one's fantastic as well. Some of these things, it's like, you can't make it, you can't recreate this, you can't make something happen like this. You put yourself in this situation with all these different ingredients, and they align just right if you have the right eye for it. And then right back to this sort of interesting sequence between the truck and the man. Hazy, out of focus movement. You get the impression that this guy's, he's wild. He's a wild animal. And that's the last. So this last little bit is this nice handwritten note from Bryan explaining the situation, when, how, where it was shot. And then it ends with this picture, which is like a beautiful moment of respite at the end where you get to reflect on the chaos, I guess, that just finished. And it also came with this cool poster. This is the second edition, I think. Trespasser printed this one. I think it was originally printed by Twin Palms. And with this version, you get this awesome poster from inside the truck. Window broken. Yeah, Casey, glad to hear it. Yeah, I love this picture. I haven't found a good place to hang this up in my house. I don't have too much stuff on my walls. I try to keep it pretty minimum with the exception of like some stuff like this. So this one's cool. It gets to live in my book. And that was the end of the book. That one was really quick. I'm glad that all of you guys got to join that came in. I'll flip through real quickly because people are kind of tuning in right now, and I want to like make sure that they get a little glimpse since I kind of blazed through that one. But yeah, this is a book about so it's by Bryan Schutmaat, and he shot this in the days leading up to a good friend of his going to prison, and yeah. This is the picture. Bye, Casey. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you get some good stuff. Just going to flip through real quick again for those of you that just tuned in for some interesting pictures that I really like. Just kind of blaze through. This one's one of my favorites. Fantastic hand on the screen door. And oops. Yeah, this one's a really short book, so was able to look at it quickly with a few people, and I'm glad that I got to share it. Tons of great pictures, and again, like, this is what they did with their time right before going to prison, and I thought that was really interesting to share right now, being that we're all in this quarantine semi-prison. And I guess it was kind of interesting to think about from a different perspective, like similar, maybe, circumstance. Like, if we would have known that we were going to be quarantined this long, like, what would we have done? I'm sure that a lot of us would have gotten pretty reckless and drank beers in the forest and shot guns like these guys did. And end it on, that's the last picture in the book. And that's kind of, I think, a beautiful way to end it, especially today's Earth Day. So can end on this nice little moment back with the flowers. I know that some of you guys are just logging in right at the end here. I've flipped through the book twice now. Thank you for joining me. Does anybody have any questions or requests or that type of thing? Well, I have like a handful of you in the room. This book is Good Goddamn by Bryan Schutmaat. He is a photographer from Texas. This book was released in 2017. It's good stuff. I think that's going to be all for my quick little live broadcast, getting to share one of my favorite books with you guys. I appreciate you all for tuning in and checking it out, and by all means, holler at me if you have any questions. Hope that you guys are all staying safe and sane out there, and we're doing good in quarantine. Much love, everybody.